Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Well, first of all, I would say that our religion is a religion that has a very interesting balance between the individual and between the community. In the West, individuality has been taken to a very, very extreme aspect of society, where the individual overrides the community, and so we see things that are very offensive to segments, sometimes large segments of the community. But because some of the people in the society want to do those things, everybody has to suffer that. Certainly, pornography is a good example of that, or the type of advertisements and things that one sees just going out into the public. In the Muslim tradition, there's a great sense of respecting the community and the sensibilities of the community, but what you do in your own home is your own business. That's between you and God. Now, the other aspect, though, is that Riyah is a very serious sin in our tradition. It's called the hidden shirk, and this is why things like night prayers, and there are things that you do that other people don't know, and that is a way of protecting yourself from doing them for other people. So this is actually an opportunity to do things on your own that other people won't see. And this is why the Malikis consider it better in the home. That's one of the reasons that they consider it better in the home, is because it's between you and God, and there's nobody that sees you. And those are the acts that Allah loves the best, where it's just solely done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the other thing that, the intimacy, one of the things that a lot of modern people have a very difficult time understanding is just the intimacy with God and with the Quran. The Salaf said that the Quran to the early community, to the Sahaba, it was like love letters that their Lord had sent them, and so they would read them at night over and over again. Like people who, when maybe some of the people out there, when they were young and in love, and they wrote poems or they wrote love letters to their beloved, they would read them over and over again. And that's something out of intimacy. Intimacy is not for public display, which is one of the reasons why in our tradition, idhar khushu' is makruh in the prayer, like to show too much khushu' when you're praying in public. That's actually makruh for that reason. So I think it's an opportunity for people to just be with their Lord. In many previous traditions, people fled to desert caves and things like that. I mean, the Hindus have the sadhu who goes off into the jungle just to get away from society, to get close to God. And the Christians had the anchorite. We have also, Awais al-Qarni is a very interesting character in our tradition, and Awais was one of these people. They said that he used to throw rocks if they tried to visit him in his cave, because he just didn't want to be bothered. So I think it's important for people to remember that there is that component of just being alone with your Lord and getting more comfortable with that. Obviously, that's easier for introverted people than it is for extroverted people. I'm an ambivert, so I have that ability to do both. Extroverted people tend to really need other people, and they thrive off other people's energy. And that is a fact of life. So there really are genuinely extroverted people that really need more communication and sociability, and that's understandable. And those people, it's far more difficult. Like I have a friend, he's a very prominent Christian scholar and a legal scholar, and he was telling me what a hard time he's having because he's such an extrovert. Whereas for me, this has been like such a blessing of just having a lot of time. So it's a very interesting thing. So I would just recommend that people really try to do things that connect them more, especially the Quran, reading the Quran. If you don't know Arabic, getting a good translation and really being able to connect with the Quran Ramadan is for the Quran. And then a really important thing is just exercise. Like people have to physically exercise, because one of the main reasons why there's so much mental illness and depression is because people do not move their bodies, and we believe in the bodily resurrection. So our prayer is a physical prayer. There's actually, I mean, we don't want to say this, but there is an exercise component to our physical prayer. Like you're really doing something that is very healthy for your body by praying 5 times a day in the way that we pray. So obviously that's not the purpose, but that's a side benefit of the prayer. Getting up throughout the day is very important. But so I would say people should walk. We're still allowed to walk outside to exercise. Walking is really important, especially if you live near green places, to get out. The Japanese have a word for what they call forest bathing, which is actually to go out into nature and to take a spiritual bath. And the Quran, when it describes the servants of the merciful, it says, وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. And also the Prophet said, بَشِّرْ الْمَشَّائِينَ بِالظُّلَمِ, بِالنُّورِ التَّامِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Like, tell the people that walk often in the darknesses to having complete light on the day of judgment. So walking devotionally is actually very important. And there are certain shuyukh that, like in Mauritania, a lot of the shuyukh do all their dhikr walking. So they actually go and just recite Quran when they're walking. It's interesting that in Buddhism they have sitting meditation, they have walking meditation. They say that the sitting meditation for people like to sit, and walking meditation is for people like to walk. So you can take a subha or just go out and just walk and do some dhikr and still your mind and calm your soul. Those are very beneficial things for people to do. And you know, the human body is designed to at least walk between 8,000 and 12,000 steps a day, and it will work optimally if you do that. Most people are walking under 3,000 steps a day now in Western society, and the mortality rate goes down 51% by people that walk over 8,000 steps a day with all diseases, like cancer, everything. So there's been really amazing studies about the importance of walking. And so I would really encourage that. And one of my teachers, Murabit Muhammad al-Amin, once told me that there's an Arab proverb, al-harwalatu dawa'un la yuqti, that a brisk walking is a cure that will never fail. Mm-hmm. And when he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, they wanted to put him on medication. He said, no, I'm just gonna walk every day more than I usually do. And he did, and his sugar regulated. So walking is very, very beneficial, and people need to do that. It's very important.